Good evening. We are in the Ritz tonight in Manchester with Dave Pirner from Soul Asylum. Hi.
Hello. How you doing?
How is the tour going so far? 4 days? You're halfway through the 8 days UK tour?
Yeah, the reception has been surprisingly good. People seem to know the tunes and sing along and be into it. I mean, I had no idea what to expect because it's, as you said, it's been a while.
Yeah, so 28 years to be precise. I think it was so what has happened during this time? Where have you been? Where? Mainly touring the UK, the US and the Canada.
Records, touring around the world. I don't. That's very difficult for me to understand why we haven't been here in so long.
It's difficult for me as well.
I have no idea.
Yes, and especially you continue producing a lot of excellent albums. Well, maybe the 30 years anniversary of Grave Dancer Unions might bring a second lease of life. Is it lease of life? Second wind?
I think they're gonna keep re-releasing that record.
And obviously, coming and talking about the 30-year anniversary, what could we expect on this tour? Is it going to be mainly focused on the album? Have you thought about ever doing a whole set with the whole album? Or is it not something that you're into?
We did that on the 20th anniversary of the record. We toured all over America with a couple other bands that were playing their records from beginning to end. And, it was cool. There's a few songs on that record that we never play, so that was interesting, fun.
Yeah.
So it's hard to believe how time passes.
So we should expect on that tour basically more or less some of the songs from this album, obviously, as well as a mix of the latest album, Hurry Up and Wait, which was released in 2020, which you never got really to tour here in Europe. So I would assume you're gonna throw us, or am I completely off the track?
No, that's about right. We're kind of featuring. I think we're playing like at least a song from every record, and stressing the newest material and playing the favorites from Grave Dancers and whatnot, things that work, that we know.
So a mix of everything.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think you would have had a different path if you had released an album as a Gravedigger Union?
No, but oddly enough, that's not the first time I've ever heard that.
Oh, right.
Mistake.
That was the first time for me, yeah.
So I don't,
How did the name come about? Because it's not related to any specific song in the album, is it?
No. I mean, it's just the idea of
The thought with the cover?
like dancing on someone's grave, and then like you have to join a union to get whatever kind of rights, or I don't know. It's just supposed to be kind of a metaphor for something. I don't know.
Just being creative.
Mm-hmm.
Regarding the creative process, let's say I'm going to refer still to the 28-year gap between the last time we get to saw you, which is you maybe a different man like we all are 28, 30 years later. Do you write and create the albums in a very similar way that you used to when you were in your 20s and 30s?
Yeah, I mean,
or this evolved with technology and the way...
You sort of have to try everything in a way that, maybe there's some I haven't tried yet, or a method that I haven't exploited or explored, and so generally it's the same process. Sometimes it's the music first and then the words, and sometimes it's the other way around. But yeah, I mean, it's been sort of, I guess, a slowly evolving thing where, it doesn't get any easier, and suddenly have like more topics that you're concerned with. So I sort of have to navigate that kind of the emotional palette or whatever that makes up my day and what I think about and what I care about and how I'm affected by things. So you have to sort of, I mean, for me anyways, I have to sort of always be listening, and be like a sponge and kind of absorb what's happening around me and then kind of try to, I guess, make sense of it.
So it's still very much you on the guitar, writing overall over the years, the songs and bringing it to the rest of the band.
Yeah, pretty much.
So it's
Sometimes
because
piano, sometimes guitar, but
all right,
pretty much.
We got a couple of questions which are standard questions that we tend to ask on our website, and basically if you have to choose one or put them in order, which one is your preferred? Writing, recording, or touring?
What do I like to do the most out of those three things?
They all got the different...
I guess playing music live. I mean, that's kind of where we've always been coming from. You got to start with being able to, pull it off in front of an audience, and that's for whatever it's worth. If you can't do that, then I don't know why you would be doing it. So that's really where it all.
Okay, I've got another kind of fun question. We are in the UK. I mean, I'm French, but I live in the UK for the last a good 30 years, and they are good drinkers, as you probably heard. Be it tea or beer or any other beverages. But if Soul Asylum was a drink, non-alcoholic or alcoholic, what would you be?
I guess it would be something like water, just some sort of a staple that is enduring and something that you gotta have.
These days we were talking about the creative process and absorbing influences from the external. What kind of bands what kind of music do you currently listen to these days?
Currently?
Has your taste evolved? Because I feel still that your music is still very much Soul Asylum and very much you, really. It's still the...
Yeah, I mean, generally I listen to things that aren't the same kind of music that I make, and I think there's a lot of reasons for that. I mean, I have no desire to sit around and listen to a bunch of bands that remind me of what we're doing. Very partial to jazz music. I spent 20 years in New Orleans. I like Jay Dilla, and I feel like I get more and more into instrumental music as I get sort of tired of repeating themes and lyricists and all that sort of thing. But
but yet when you come to create a record and release a new album, you come back to what is almost a recipe of, or you try to bring these influences slightly.
Well, I'm certainly trying to challenge the potential of what we can do with a 4-piece band, and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't, and I try to keep it simple but interesting, and I think that's kind of the trick to it. You don't want to be doing the same old shit all the time, and you kind of want to be trying new things all the time, and just kind of surprising yourself. I guess that's what keeps it interesting.
Yeah. One of my final questions, really, it's if you had to play one song, which would be your last encore, the one song if you were about to retire, and it was your last song you would have to pick to say goodbye, that would be a symbol of which one would you pick? And I mean, it can be a cover. It's really...
Oh, that's a tough question. I have to imagine it would be different every day.
But it would be the last one.
Yeah, I think the last.
And would you do it for the fans or would you do it for yourself?
Is probably the last song we're going to end the set with today, because it's just think it's a good way to go out.
Okay.
It's a little funny and it's a little exciting and it's a little sarcastic and it's fun to play.
So we have to wait for the end of the set to find out.
You are correct.
Okay, fair enough. Finally, my last question. What are the future plans once this tour is done? Have you got anything lined up in the next year?
Well, yeah, we got a bunch of odd gigs. We come back to America and then we go to Mexico.
Yes,
and
I've
we're
seen
going to do another
couple of festivals this
acoustic
year,
tour
isn't
or
it?
something, and we managed to keep pretty busy. And I've got like 32 songs that I'm sort of working on, and
So it's time for a new album, possibly.
hopefully sooner than later. Yeah, if we can sort of stay focused on it. I mean, the weird thing is that we kind of get on a roll with the record, and then we go on tour or go play gigs.
That cuts off
and then
the momentum.
And then you kind of have to try to pick up where you left
Yeah.
off, and it takes a little while to.
So it's a matter of locking
the
yourself
gears
into the studio for a few
turning.
months.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. For next year. Nothing confirmed yet, anyway.
Not that I'm aware of.
No.
You know.
Okay.
I'm looking forward to it, whatever it is, because
But we're looking forward to tonight
it's always
for the start, and then.
it's always more of what I ultimately love to do, and it never gets boring for me, and it never gets any easier, and it never gets less strange, I think. So yeah, it keeps it interesting. It's a challenge, but it's one that I accept.
Okay. Well, thank you for your time.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
All right. It was Dave Pirner of Soul Asylum for rockfresh.com.